So I've had lots and lots of comments on negative and positive on the building development, how developing is working in Mexico. Are we just tearing down a bunch of trees? Are we putting a bunch of concrete wonderlands around? That's not what's happening in Tulum. That happens in most of Playa del Carmen and all of Cancun. I'd like to think that the developers and investors throughout time over the last 50 years have kind of learned from their mistakes as we go along, right? We started in Cancun, and Cancun it's a jungle highway. It's basically, quote unquote, Miami in Mexico, so to speak, right? You've got, Puerto Cancun has a bunch of amazing towers. It's a different lifestyle. I love going to Puerto Cancun. I love going to Cancun to go shopping. I love the area, but there isn't a whole lot of green areas in Cancun. You drive further south, you jump a couple of small little towns, you get to Playa del Carmen, and Playa del Carmen had the same problem, except Playa del Carmen didn't allow you to build skyscrapers. You had limits on how many floors you can build. Now, those limits change year after year, and they're getting a little bit higher and higher, but when I first got to Playa del Carmen, the tallest building you could have was 3 floors that was close to the beach. Over time, that started changing, but why did that start changing? That's what you need to ask yourself. It's not just because developers are trying to make more money. It's because the landowners that had the land, the value of those lands increased so much, and they were so cost prohibitive that the developers needed to either go up another floor or they had to use every inch of their land in order to make this a profitable venture for them. And it's still a business in the long run. Now, is it a bad thing? You can argue that till you're blue in the face. Is it a good thing? I could argue that till I'm blue in the face as well and have a great debate about it. I get it. I understand. But in Playa, they used 100% of their land because it was very expensive to buy land in Playa and develop that land in Playa. Now, we moved to Tulum. 15 years ago in Tulum, when I first started selling stuff in Tulum, it was a small little town, which is still has that quaint feeling. It just depends on where you go. But they are developing Tulum, and Tulum's going to be developed. Whether I like it or not, whether I want to argue with you about it and say, you know what, don't do it, it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Now, what we can do is have a voice. What we can do is have a say in how the developments are going to happen. How do we do that? By what we buy, what I present, what I want to recommend for you to buy. And if I could recommend for you to buy things that are actually sustainable, that are eco-friendly, that are not just destroying the jungle, then I'm doing my share. I'm doing my good deed for the day, so to speak, right? By pushing positive construction, sustainable construction. One of the things that one of my friends sent to me last night, he said, I want you to help me do something, Alberto. I want you to try and help me explain to people that sustentabilidad or sustainable is also rentable. In other words, creating a eco-friendly or a sustainable development doesn't mean you're going to lose money. It's actually a profitable venture. So it can be together. You can have eco-friendly with high returns, with high equity, high return on your investments. It goes hand in hand if you do it the proper way. Instead of just being another condominium, another condo, another skyscraper, selling another condo for $150,000, why not do something different? And what's different? Well, doing an eco-friendly off-grid with certain certifications. There are some developers in this area right now that are doing just that. I'm going to name drop some. Whether you go to them or come to me or whatever you want to do, it's up to you. But if you look at the project Salva Zama, look it up. Go to Google, look up Salva Zama, look what they're doing. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. Low carbon footprint. They're going to have a school that's below Aldea Sacbé in Salva Zama called Green School. Green School is 100% off-grid from K through 12. So, and you have different developments within Salva Zama, and they're not going to be building 80% of their property. They're going to allow you to build 15, 10%. You can build your house on 4,000 square feet, but you can only build a 1,500 or a 2,000 square foot house on the first floor. You can do 2 floors to get your 4,000 square foot house, but it's not going to be a wide footprint. It'll be low, so you're leaving jungle there. That's one. Another development that's doing this type of developments that I love is 101 Park. It's another development that's doing the disconnect to reconnect, low carbon footprint, building sustainability. They're pushing to have only electric cars in their neighborhoods, only electric cars going down to the hotel zone, having, golf carts, your scooters, basically trying to get the congestion of highway, cars, gasoline, and just lower your overall carbon footprint. Another company, another developer that I ran into a couple of weeks ago that I had a crazy experience about. You want to ask me about it later? Ask me about it, but me and bees are not friends. So it's a place called Kuyabeh. Kuyabeh is another place. It's about 25 minutes outside of Tulum. Kuyabeh is unique in itself that it's 100% off-grid. I'm talking about 350 hectares or 375 hectares. For those of you that talk about things in acres, that's about 780, 800 acres of land. It's a little town, so to speak. And what they're doing is they're selling half-acre, 1 acre, and 2 acre lots. And you can only build 7%. That's one of your land. In other words, that's it. The rest is left for jungle. You cannot bulldoze anything. You can't tear anything down. That's one. Two, it's 100% solar panel only with your battery backups, and you heat your water basically with a big tank on the roof, and the sun heats your water up. I mean, it's super cool, very nice. It's elegant. It's unique. Great return on your investment. It's an amazing development that's in the middle of outside of Tulum, in the middle of not nowhere, but it's a great development that's 25 minutes from Tulum that gets you secluded, but you still feel included into the city. So you want to go to dinner, you drive 20 minutes to go to a restaurant and go eat dinner in Tulum. Another property like this is called Aldea Sacbé. We're going to go to the other side. We're going to go towards Cancun. It's in Puerto Morelos, in the Ruta Cenotes. Right? Aldea Sacbé is doing the exact same thing, low carbon footprint. They're building these guys, they're building their houses on stilts, 2 meters up. Why? So the wildlife can still climb underneath. You're not putting cement foundations on the ground. It's going to reduce the amount of heat that your house is going to have. You're going to have to use less electricity. You'll use less energy in general to keep your house either cool or warm. In the winter, we have 3 days of winter. So in the cool or warm, in the summertime, it's an amazing opportunity. These are all opportunities you have to invest. So if you are environmentally conscious, but you want to get the highest return on your investment, well, let's change our mindset. Let's get away from oceanfront, beach condos, cement walls, using a bunch of electricity, and not being eco-friendly. Because eco-friendly doesn't mean no profit. Eco-friendly needs to meet the expectations and exceed expectations on the amount of money you're going to make in the long run. What some of the companies are doing in Tulum, they're using what's called an EDGE certification. There's not very many doing it. I think there's a couple doing this. And there's one that's already certified, okay? What this developer's doing, EDGE certification, first of all, there's 3 levels of EDGE certification. Level 1, in order to get the certificate of EDGE, you need to be 20% renewable energy. Within energy, water, and the way you manufacture or the way you get the materials that you use to build your development has to save at least 20% renewable or not using that much energy to do it, right? That's level 1. Level 2 is a minimum of 40%. So basically, to get the certification of level 2, your development has to save at least 40% or has to use 40% less energy, 40% less water, and the machinery and the equipment and the things that you used to get the equipment that you use to build your development have to be 40% less. In other words, 40% less carbon footprint. Level 3, this is phenomenal. I don't even know how they do this, but level 3 is 100%. 100% renewable energy, 100%. Your energy is renewable, your water is renewable, and the materials that you use to build your development, whatever machinery that was used is also 0 carbon footprint. So they've got to use like machetes or something, to cut these trees down, and then they shave the wood to make the house. Now, I'm not sure how they do it, but look up EDGE certification. Look it up and check it out. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear your comments. Whether you think it's good, if it's going the right trend, going the wrong way.